What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie290 Day coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And once again, I want to talk to you about one of my favorite YouTubers by the name of Angry Joe. But now let me go ahead and dab on the haters by saying that yes, I do talk a lot about other YouTubers here on this channel. It's something I've always done. It's something I always plan to do. Yes, it is a fairly dramatic what I'm about to talk about here, which I understand. Again, not everybody's going to enjoy this type of content. But I do love watching YouTube. I do love talking about what's going on YouTube. And when things like this that are unique to YouTube that you won't see anywhere else, I can't help but talk about. So if you don't enjoy this kind of thing, feel free to skip the video. No worries. And let me go ahead and start off by saying also that I love Angry Joe. I love his content. I love him as a person. He's a great guy. Here's where we met in San Francisco back in 2014-ish. One of my greatest moments, just getting to meet this guy and spending some time with this guy. Fantastic person, just overall wonderful guy. But not only is it an all-around great guy, he puts out some incredible gaming content here on YouTube. And if you've never seen one of his angry reviews, you absolutely should, because they are often 20 or 30 minutes long. They are often better than the actual game that he is reviewing. They are incredible. He puts an incredible amount of work into them. It can take him weeks after a game comes out to be able to do the full review because of the costuming, because of the sketching, because of the scripting, and because of the film schedule. But overall, they are genuinely masterpieces that honestly remind me of James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerds, his old school videos. Only sometimes I like these better. I'll just be honest, I like them better. Now, the playlist I just showed you shows 142 episodes of the Angry Reviews, and that is quite a few episodes since 2009. If you watch them in order, you will see that the very first reviews are fairly elaborate, but they continue to get bigger and longer and stronger with more costumes, more sketches, more special effects, more crazy editing, to the point that Joe has said it could take 2, 3, 4, 5, 100 hours, 200 hours worth of work, filming, editing, buying, scripting, all of that stuff to create these videos. And I genuinely believe it because they are some of the best gaming content on YouTube. But here's the problem with the angry reviews when it comes to Joe's situation. I think there's several different issues, many of which is what he said, and I'll let him speak for himself for the most part. But as far as I can tell, YouTube's algorithm is one of the biggest problems because he can really only do an angry review once every 3 weeks, 4 weeks or so. And YouTube will not stand for that. You need to upload frequently, not once every 3 weeks or 2 weeks, but at least weekly, at the very least weekly. And ideally, you would upload way more frequently than that. There are some YouTubers who take month-long breaks. There are some YouTuber accounts that take 6 months breaks, but they are the rare exceptions. We're talking about stuff like epic rap battles, or even someone like Video Game Donkey, who gets away with uploading only once a week. But for the most part, if you want to retain relevance with the current algorithm, you need to upload frequently and very long videos as well. And this makes YouTubers like me and Joe and pretty much everybody else pad their channel a little bit with more frequent uploads, sometimes with lower effort quality or lower quality or lower effort product. And Joe certainly does that, I think, to some degree. He's got the movie reviews and the smaller game reviews and the product reviews and the unboxings and the Game of Thrones reviews and stuff like that. I still watch some of that content, but I know it's not for everybody. And I don't think it's low effort, especially compared to the rest of YouTube or even what I do here. I think it's still very good content. However, it does not compare to the ridiculous amount of effort he puts into those angry reviews. So recently, Joe and his team made an announcement that they were going to take a 2-month break from the angry reviews. Whatever games come out during that period of time, they're just not going to cover them in that way. They may cover them in different ways, but no more long sketches, no more costumes. After 9 years of making YouTube videos pretty much several days a week, they were going to take a break from the hardest part of the job. And they would still continue to do movie reviews. They would still continue to do the Game of Thrones reviews. They would continue to do the product stuff or the Let's Plays and stuff like that. But the stuff that took the 100 or 200 hours per video to make, they would take a short break of, probably in preparation for this fall season where they're just going to get their ass handed to them as usual. And this has caused something absolutely crazy. I've never seen anything like it. I noticed for the first time when I was streaming the other night, and somebody asked, Boogie, what do you think about Angry Joe going to war with his fans? And I thought that was one of the craziest things I've ever heard. I'd seen the video in which he announced they were taking the 2-month break, but I had no idea that his audience was going to respond in the way that they did. We saw his audience mass revolt. And we are saying that terrible things being said to him, of course, on Reddit and 4chan and elsewhere, but even in his own comment section. It was a revolution there where people are demanding the angry reviews and not settling for anything else. Any new video he put out was just tons of people attacking each other. You know, just people saying on one side, Joe deserves a break, give him a break, support Joe. On the other side, screw that guy. I came here for the angry reviews. He's lazy. He's a piece of shit. Fuck him. And then the dislike ratio bar. Normally his videos are like the 95, 98 100% like ratio, and now they're like 50, 40, 30% like ratio because they are taking it out on the other types of content that he creates, I guess in an effort to shut him down until he brings back the angry reviews, which just seems like craziness to me. I'm easily one of Angry Joe's biggest fans. Oh, I mean, clearly one of his biggest fans. And that said, my favorite thing is obviously the angry reviews. That's the main reason I've watched Joe over the years. It's the main reason I'll watch him moving forward. Am I upset that the angry reviews are taking a hiatus? Sure. You know, I'll miss them. And there's some games coming out in the next 2 months I definitely want reviews for that I guess I won't get. But that's okay. I will still watch some of his content from time to time. And when the reviews are back, I'll tune right back in. But I think that oversimplifies why his fans seem to be upset. Some of it seems to stem around the fact that he says he's taking a 2-month vacation, which is very unheard of for a lot of people. You know, if you live in somewhere like Australia, you might get as much as 30 days off for vacation. If you live somewhere in Europe, you might get as much as 2 weeks. Here in the United States, which is a core of his audience, I'm sure, we are lucky if we get 5 or 7 days off. And a lot of the times, that's not even paid vacation. You are lucky to get 5 or 7 days off unpaid. And another user brought up a pretty valid point saying that he used to feel super excited whenever he saw an Angry Joe video in his sub feed. He knew that it was going to be an angry review or something super high quality. Now these days, there's a lot of stuff on the channel that he doesn't enjoy. Maybe it's the movie reviews or the Game of Thrones reviews or the smaller product reviews of the Let's Plays. He used to feel very excited the same way he actually compared it to a JonTron subscription or feed. If JonTron uploads something, you know exactly what you're going to get and you know how produced it is. You know exactly what it is going to be. So it used to be super exciting. Now that's not so much the case with all of the extra content going up on the channel. Pretty interesting that he compared it to JonTron because JonTron hasn't made a video in 6 months because of all the negative criticism he got from his audience and some of the stupid mistakes he made. But I'll tell you this, man. We miss you, John. Upload soon, buddy. So obviously, as a fan of Angry Joe, I kind of get what they're talking about, and I understand it. But as a YouTuber, I can't help but have my heart bleed for this guy. A lot of people don't really understand what goes into a YouTuber's life or the job. You know, they think, well, if they produce a 10-minute video, then it only took 10 minutes to make. Well, this video is probably going to be about 10 or 12 minutes. I've already been in the studio for about an hour and a half, filming, scripting, editing, writing, researching, and doing all of that stuff. Probably have another hour and a half to go before I'll upload this. So this is a fairly small video, fairly easy to do. It's still taking me about 3 hours. But then once it's uploaded, then I have to share it on social media, then I have to read the comments, then I have to leave the comments, then I have to moderate the comments, and then I have to obsess over it all day, and I have to check the stats over and over again, and I got to make sure it gets to the subreddit. I got to see what people are saying about it. Ah! And then for someone like Joe and me, there's the whole back end of running a business, doing the taxes, and doing the brand deals, and planning the trips, and buying the tickets, and running your own life on top of that. We also have lives on top of that. Some of us have families and friends. Some of us have things we want to do. That isn't YouTube. Most of us don't. Most of us are just consumed by the job. But some of us sometimes take 2-month vacations too. You got to do this dance in which you are pleasing the YouTube algorithm while also pleasing the audience, while also trying to stay integral and pleasing to yourself. And at the end of the day, I mean, for a lot of us who are doing this full time, like me, like Joe, you do have to worry about money. We do have bills to pay. Joe has employees that he has to pay as well. There's stuff you've got to do to take care of yourself, your family, got to put a roof over your head. And so you have to take that kind of stuff into consideration as well. And Joe has definitely said in this latest video that the angry reviews are a terrible way to make money on YouTube. And he's absolutely right. I guarantee he's taking a loss on every one of those videos. But he does them because people enjoy them, and he enjoys them most of the time as well. And I can go ahead and say right here, right now, I couldn't do what Joe is doing. I couldn't function at the level. I couldn't get those kind of views. I certainly couldn't make those kinds of videos. I can barely do what I'm doing now. With my broken body and my broken brain, I'm working at peak performance right now. I can't imagine what it would be like to put 200, 300 hours into a 45-minute video with costumes and actors and God knows. God knows. So I guess at the end of the day, I'm more than glad to just give the guy a break. And this is something that we see all the time here on YouTube. You know, YouTube is very different from television. I think it was Rich from Review Tech USA who said about this. He said, could you imagine if you tuned into your favorite television show one night and instead of it being the scripted television show that you were expecting, it was just them like sitting around talking about something or their day or a movie they saw recently? I guess I can understand that. But we also have to realize YouTube is not television, you know? None of this stuff is guaranteed. At the end of the day, we creators, some of us are professional by trade, but we are very rarely professional by skill. A lot of us are just winging this stuff. And you really have to scratch your head and think, man, what a terrible problem to have, right? Like, what a terrible sarcasm there. I don't do sarcasm well. But what a terrible problem it is to have people clamoring to get more of the thing that you create and pay to watch it in some cases, right? I think back to the last season with Rick and Morty between season 2 and season 3, where the subreddit there was just going crazy because we had to wait so long for season 3. And I was one of those people posting there frequently on one of my alternate accounts on Reddit. I can't imagine it's got to be a terrible problem as a YouTuber. I've never had that problem. But if you think about it, there's a big, big difference because the creators of Rick and Morty, they have a whole television channel and the entire world between them and the people that watch their content, right? But then Joe is literally mired in every single day because this isn't a television channel. This is YouTube, right? This is YouTube, where you and I, the audience, we walk hand in hand. We are in this together. It's got to be hard. And I personally think, as a fan of Joe, and as someone I'd like to consider maybe a friend to some extent, though we talk very infrequently, I have his back here. I think if he needs a 2-month mental health break, I think he should absolutely be allowed to have it. And if he's going to continue to produce other content as well during that period of time, I'm okay with that. I will tune in to watch it every once in a while just to support the guy if it interests me. And as a creator, I definitely have his back here too, but that's just me. If you are upset with Angry Joe, if you've heard about this at all, and you're upset with him, I would love to know why in the comments section below. Get your gripes out here. I'm more than glad to listen to you. Maybe this video has helped change your mind. And if you're unfamiliar with Angry Joe and you've watched this video, the guy sure could use your love right now. So head on over to his Twitter feed, give him a little bit of love. Head over to his subreddit if you want to. Head over to his YouTube comments when they come back on, because I guarantee you he could use a little bit of love. And I promise you're going to like the videos as well. But let me know in the comment section below. Am I right about this one? Am I wrong about this one? How should I feel about this one? I know how I do, but I'm curious as to how you feel and why. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon. And hey, Joe, if you see this, buddy, don't let the bastards grind you down.